Time slips quietly. Most of us don't notice it until it's almost gone. We live like we have forever postponing dreams, ignoring our inner voice, and letting days pass without really living them. But the Stoics saw things differently. They didn't fear the end. They used it to ignite the beginning. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." He wasn't warning us, he was reminding us not to rush, but to become aware. To realize that each moment we waste is a moment we never get back. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, there's still time for that? Time to change, to heal, to try again? The Stoics would ask, how do you know? You don't. And that uncertainty is not meant to frighten you, but to wake you up. Because the only thing worse than dying is never really living. Seneca said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And he was right. We waste it in arguments that don't matter, routines we no longer question, and fears we don't confront. The Stoic wakes up and remembers this day is not a guarantee. Every breath is on loan. Every word you say could be the last someone hears. That awareness creates urgency, not panic. It creates depth, not fear. So let me ask you, if today was a one-time gift, would you treat it the same? Would you love more freely? Would you hesitate less? Would you stop chasing perfection and start being present? Just pause, breathe, and remember. The most powerful lives are not the longest. They're the most intentional, the most awake, and the most alive. We don't need more time, we need more clarity. And that clarity begins when we stop trying to control everything around us. You know, the world is loud. It pushes and pulls. News cycles, other people's opinions, missed calls, unanswered texts, shifting plans, all of it feels urgent. But the Stoics taught us to pause and ask, is this within my control or not? Epictetus said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. It sounds simple, and it is, but it's not easy. Because letting go isn't passive, it's powerful. It's the conscious act of choosing where your energy goes. Most people spend their lives fighting battles they were never meant to fight, trying to fix others, change the past, predict the future, and all it does is drain them. Have you ever lost sleep over something completely outside your hands? A decision someone else made? A moment that already passed? That's what happens when we confuse influence with control. The Stoic understands control begins and ends within. Your choices, your responses, your thoughts. That's the ground you stand on. Everything else? Wind, storm, noise. You can't stop the waves, but you can steady your boat. You can't change the weather, but you can prepare your mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Not false strength, but quiet, rooted, unshakable strength. So next time you feel overwhelmed, stop. Clarity begins with control, but it deepens when you learn to control yourself. The world may pull at you, but the real struggle lives inside. One careless word, one look, one delay, and suddenly you're angry, frustrated, disconnected. Have you felt that? Like your emotions hijack your day before you even know what happened? The Stoics saw this clearly. They never said don't feel. They said, feel, but don't be ruled by it. Epictetus wrote, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master." Let that sink in. When someone cuts you off and you rage for hours, who really has the power? When one comment online ruins your peace, was it worth it? You give your energy to things that do not deserve it, and it costs you. You don't need to be emotionless. You need to be emotionally sovereign. That means noticing the rise, the heat, the urge to react, and choosing stillness instead. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man of his time, wrote in his private meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." That's not just philosophy, it's practice. It's pausing before snapping. It's breathing instead of blaming. It's strength, not loud, not aggressive, but quiet, grounded, aware. So the next time you feel triggered, don't run from it. Watch it, name it, ask, is this useful? Is this worth my peace? Emotional strength isn't built in comfort. It's built in how you face what feels unfair. And the truth is, life doesn't play fair. You can do everything right and still be overlooked. You can love deeply and still be left. You can work harder than anyone else and still lose the race. If you've ever thought, this isn't fair, you're not alone. But the Stoics would challenge that thought not by denying your pain, but by reminding you that fairness is not a rule of the universe, it's an expectation we've created. Marcus Aurelius said, "You can commit injustice by doing nothing." Even as emperor, he witnessed betrayal, greed, cruelty, and he never assumed life would protect him from it. He simply prepared for it. That's the difference. The average person waits for fairness, the Stoic trains for impact. Seneca wrote, "Sometimes even to live is an act of courage, especially when the odds feel stacked against you." So what if, instead of asking, "Why me?" you asked, "What now?" That shift changes everything. It puts the power back in your hands. It reminds you that you can be disappointed without being defeated. You can feel injustice and still rise with dignity. The Stoic approach isn't passive. It's not about tolerating pain for the sake of it. It's about building a mind so prepared, so steady, that when life strikes, you don't shatter. You act. You endure. You grow. Life will never be perfectly fair, but you can be perfectly prepared. So the next time something feels unjust, just pause. Don't spiral. Don't waste your energy wishing for different rules. Choose strength. That's the Stoic way. Strength isn't found in controlling outcomes. It's found in how you show up when outcomes are uncertain. And they almost always are. You train, you commit, you give your best. And still, sometimes the result doesn't come. The world says that means you failed. The Stoic says, keep going. Epictetus taught, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Results lie beyond, effort does not. Most people fall in love with the finish line, the number, the praise, the victory. But that love is fragile because it depends on things they cannot hold. The Stoic learns to love differently. He finds peace in the process, the quiet repetition, the small improvements, the discipline of showing up when no one is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason that today arm you against the present. That's the point. You don't prepare just to win. You prepare because that act itself sharpens your soul. The gym session that no one sees, the words you write that no one reads, the effort you give when no one claps. That's the process. That's the win. Because true success isn't at the finish line, it's in how you walk the path. Steady, honest, intentional. So when the results don't come, or come late, or come and then vanish, you remain whole. You don't break because you were never attached to the outcome, only to the integrity of your effort. That's the Stoic path. You show up, you act, you release, and you repeat. Releasing attachment to outcomes gives you peace, but preparing for adversity gives you strength. And real strength isn't built when life is easy. It's built when you willingly step into challenge before it arrives. The Stoics didn't wait for the storm. They trained for it. Seneca practiced sleeping on the floor, wearing rough clothes, eating plain food not out of punishment but preparation. He said, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition I feared?'" That question, it unlocks freedom, because most of our fears live in the mind, exaggerated, inflated, never tested. But when you test them, when you voluntarily walk into the discomfort, something shifts. You stop being afraid. Cold showers, fasting, silence, waking up early, saying no to comfort just to see who you become. Without it, these small acts, they matter. Not because they're impressive, but because they reshape your identity. You begin to trust yourself more, respect yourself more, because you're not hiding. You're showing up even when your mind screams no. Have you ever tried that? Done something difficult just to sharpen your will? If not, start small. The body resists, the mind complains, but deeper down, the soul smiles, because it knows you're becoming stronger. The Stoic doesn't fear hardship. He invites it, not recklessly, but deliberately, like a warrior sharpening his blade in times of peace. So when the storm comes, and it always comes, he doesn't panic. He's already trained for this, already stood in the fire, already walked through fear. And that kind of preparation, it changes everything. You can only sharpen your blade if you're willing to feel the friction. Voluntary hardship trains discipline, but real growth begins when you stop resisting the pain. Life didn't ask your permission to send. The Stoics saw suffering not as punishment, but as practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Let that settle in. What blocks you builds you. What breaks your rhythm becomes your rhythm. That difficult person, that unexpected loss, that long delay, they're not detours. They are the training ground. Every setback is a silent invitation. Will you grow bitter, or will you grow stronger? Because there's no becoming without discomfort. Pain, when faced with courage, stops being a threat and starts becoming a teacher. Have you ever gone through something that shattered you only to realize later it shaped you? That's the Stoic lens. We don't seek pain, but we don't fear it either. We meet it, eye to eye, and we ask, "What can I learn from you?" The answer is never simple, but it's always powerful. Patience, perspective, endurance, willpower. You can't read those into your soul. You have to earn them through the fires of reality. And when you do, something profound happens. You begin to trust pain, not love it, not want it, but trust that it's not there to destroy you, it's there to forge you. So next time struggle knocks on your door, don't run. Open it slowly. Breathe. Because the path of resistance is the path that builds who you're becoming. Once you've faced pain and chosen growth, the question becomes, who are you becoming? And more importantly, who are you becoming when no one is watching? In a world obsessed with applause, the Stoic walks a different path. He doesn't move for likes, he moves for values. Marcus Aurelius said, "Just that you do the right thing, the rest doesn't matter." It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest things to live by. Because the world will tempt you to perform, to please, to impress. But the Stoic doesn't perform. And the practice is this: do the right thing, not because it's rewarded, but because it's right. Can you hold your word when no one will ever know? Can you act with honesty when dishonesty is easier? Can you stay kind when cruelty gets more attention? That's virtue. That's integrity. Seneca wrote, "I will govern my life and thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and read the other." That's the standard, not perfection, but transparency, not showmanship, but substance. Most people bend their behavior to fit the room. The Stoic brings the room back to their principles. They are the same person in silence and spotlight, calm in praise, steady in criticism, because validation fades, but values endure. So ask yourself quietly, would I still do this if no one noticed? Would I still show up with grace, patience, discipline, even in complete invisibility? If yes, you're on the path, and if not, that's okay too. It just means the work is waiting. And the beauty of the Stoic life is this: you don't need permission, just presence, just courage, just the quiet decision to live from within, no matter who's watching. When you no longer chase validation, you begin to notice something else: how loud the world truly is. Everyone's speaking, few are listening. Everyone's moving, few are grounded. The Stoic sees this noise not as evil but as distraction, and the antidote is stillness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Just pause, let that settle in. Stillness isn't about silence. It's about anchoring in your values, in your breath, in your ability to sit inside the chaos and not become it. Most people are constantly reacting. Scroll, click, compare, reply, then wonder why they feel so scattered. Stillness doesn't mean withdrawal. It means choosing your center over and over again. Have you ever just sat still and listened to your own thoughts? No music, no screen, no escape. It's hard, isn't it? But it's also honest. The Stoic practice is stillness, not to hide, but to reconnect. With reason, with presence, with perspective. Because when your inner world is calm, the outer world loses its grip. You stop being pulled by urgency and start moving with intention. You stop shouting to be heard and begin speaking only when it matters. And in a culture addicted to speed, stillness becomes power. It's the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't need attention to be effective. So the next time the noise creeps in, the pressure, the pace, the overwhelm. Try this. Don't add to it. Just breathe. Just return. Stillness doesn't mean you're doing nothing. It means you're doing what matters most, staying with yourself. Discipline isn't just something you do, it's something you become. And the Stoic doesn't wait to feel ready. He doesn't wait for motivation, mood, or momentum. He shows up because showing up is who he is. Marcus Aurelius said, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I am rising to do the work of a human being.'" That's not a slogan. That's identity. Most people treat discipline like a tool, something to pull out when life falls apart. But the Stoic? He builds discipline into his bones, one small action at a time. Waking up without snoozing, finishing what he starts, saying no to what weakens his focus, choosing consistency over intensity. Have you ever told yourself, "I just need to be more disciplined"? What if instead you said, "This is who I am now"? That shift changes everything, because when discipline becomes identity, your actions align naturally. You stop negotiating with excuses. You stop waiting for the perfect mood. You start moving with quiet certainty, not to prove anything, but to protect the life you're building. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Discipline guards your time, your mind, your energy. And in a distracted world, that's not just strength, it's self-respect. So let your daily actions reflect your deepest values. Let your schedule speak louder than your feelings. Let your character be carved in the little things no one sees, but you live by. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength, it's already within you, waiting, quiet, unshaken. Now is your moment, not to be perfect, but to be present. Not to control everything, but to choose wisely. Not to rush, but to return to yourself. So if something here resonated, if even one thought stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more lessons that sharpen the mind and steady the soul. And if you're ready to go deeper, explore the playlist, Stoic Wisdom, Mastering Emotions and Inner Strength. It's waiting for you. Just pause, breathe in, let it settle. This isn't just a video, it's a moment of clarity, a quiet turning point, one you may come back to again and again. And wherever life leads next, carry this with you, calm, strong, unshaken. That's the way of the Stoic room.